Welcome back to LoyalTV. Remember the first time you saw a train coming down the tracks? The engine closing in, the caboose as it leaves, even the first time you smushed a penny on a rail line. Located just west of Interstate 35 on Northeast Grand Boulevard in Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma Railway Museum brings all these memories back to life and celebrates the impact and fascination that railways have had on our lives.
The museum was started by a group of rail fans that had a club called the Central Oklahoma Rail Fans Club. And they were also the Oklahoma chapter of the National Railroad Historical Society. And in the late 80s or so, they decided that they had enough equipment and personal memorabilia and artifacts that they wanted to start a museum to share this with the public. So the search began for land, and this property that we're on now is perfect because it's right adjacent to the old Katy line. So in '99, they finally purchased this land. We've really grown from where we were in 2000. We've increased in size in the property, but not only that, our equipment. We had one working engine and maybe 3 or 4 cars, and probably a dozen pieces of equipment altogether at that point. And now we're up to 65 pieces of equipment, 4 operating engines, 8 operating passenger cars, and all sorts of stuff. So it just keeps building.
The Oklahoma Railway Museum also offers multiple educational programs and seasonal events for the lifelong or budding enthusiast. From the local favorite Polar Express Christmas rides to merit badge programs and school tours, the public can enjoy the history of the railroad all year long.
Some of the programs we have, we run field trips for school groups and homeschooling groups and other even adult groups that would like tours. We have a railroading merit badge program for Boy Scouts. We do birthday parties, so you can have a birthday party in a historic railroad car that can be had with or without a train ride. And of course, we do our train rides. So we are an operating railroad. Special events, we do Easter train. We do a Halloween train with costumes and costume contests. And then, of course, the Polar Express from mid-November through December every year. And I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, the kids, kids are just transfixed by them. They lose their minds. They're so excited, and it's just something that they don't see every day. So we're glad to offer that experience.
It's important to remember that Oklahoma's location as a crossroads of the nation influenced our history as a territory and later in statehood. By 1888, Oklahoma was crisscrossed with rail lines. And during the land run of 1889, settlers jumped off trains to stake their claim. Trains transformed America, quickly moving people and goods in and out of Oklahoma, making it the fundamental innovation of the modern era.
Before the Civil War, they couldn't build railroads in Oklahoma because it was Oklahoma territory, so it was protected by treaties that we couldn't build railroads. 1866, a new treaty was negotiated, which did allow railroads to build. Congress said that whoever got to the borders of Indian Territory first could build the railroad in. It's kind of questionable about who actually got there first, but it was the Katy that got to build into Oklahoma first. So they went from Parsons, Kansas in 1870, and by 1872 they had reached Denison, Texas. And then the line we're on came in later. It was another north-south line. The Atlantic and Pacific Railroad, which was later taken over by the Frisco, started in from Arkansas into Veneta. And then the boom really happened, and lines started coming in. Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe came from Kansas all the way down to Texas. Frisco went east-west. Right around statehood, there was probably 288 miles of railroad track in Oklahoma. And then by the 1900 census, it was up to 2,500 miles of track. The 1920s was probably the height of the mileage of track in the state. After that, it started to decline for a number of reasons. The Depression, also the interstate highway system. Things started traveling by truck more, and the railroads were consolidating, so they were getting fewer in number.
Although our dependence on trains has declined, the Oklahoma Railway Museum preserves and promotes our state's railroad history. The objects, the artifacts, the equipment, and tales that tell the story of how train travel has affected our lives. Thanks to their hard work, future generations can see, feel, and experience life on the rails. The museum also has its eye on the future, with plans to expand their facility and offerings.
My dad was part of the group that started it. It's carrying on his legacy and the people that started it with him. It's a big 20-year plan. We have lots of goals. 10 years ago, we purchased the 3 acres to the north of us, and we're going to be expanding that way. We'll be building a new freight house museum building so that we have more indoor display space, archive space, classrooms, offices, also an event center for our Polar Express events, but also we can rent it out for other people to use for their events. There used to be hundreds of railroads in Oklahoma, and they've all managed to either go out of business or get subsumed under another company. It's important because the railroads had a huge impact on building Oklahoma and the nation. It opened trade up across the country, allowed faster travel. So it's pretty big innovation for our nation. And a lot of it's gone away. And the people that worked on this railroad and all the railroads, they're leaving us. So we have to capture that information and save it and have it as an educational experience for those to come. And of course, riding trains is fun. So, everybody's fascinated by them.
Thanks for joining us. Come back again for the best Oklahoma stories you've never heard, right here on LoyalTV.